This is not just a hunt, not just a defense. It is a battle for control, for legacy, for the right to rule. When rivals collide and there is nowhere left to retreat, only one force will rise above the rest. This is the battle for supremacy. In the world of lions, competition is not an event. It is a constant pressure, woven into every hour of their lives. Across the savannah, territory defines power. A pride's land is more than hunting ground. It is protection, access to food, and the future of the next generation. To lose it is to lose everything. Dominant males carry this burden every day. They patrol the borders at dawn and dusk, reading the landscape through scent and sound. Claw marks on trees, fresh tracks in the dust, a distant roar carried by the wind. Each is a message, each a potential challenge. Their roars are not empty threats. They are declarations of strength, warnings broadcast across kilometers of open plains. But every roar invites an answer. Somewhere beyond the horizon, rival males are listening. These challengers are usually younger and stronger, driven by necessity. Cast out from their birth prides, they live as nomads, testing themselves through skirmishes and honing their power for a single purpose: to take control. The confrontation, when it comes, is sudden and brutal. There is no ritual and no mercy. Manes clash, teeth find flesh, and the ground shakes beneath their weight. These battles are not about pride alone, but survival and dominance. Victory reshapes the entire pride. The defeated male is driven away, sometimes fatally wounded, his reign erased in minutes. The winner claims the territory, the lionesses, and the future. For the cubs born under the previous ruler, the stakes are even higher. New kings often eliminate them, a ruthless act that forces the pride to begin again and ensures that only their bloodline continues. Even after victory, the struggle does not end. A lion's rule is temporary. Injury, age, or the arrival of new challengers will one day tip the balance once more. In the kingdom of lions, supremacy is never permanent. It must be defended day after day against rivals shaped by hunger, ambition, and the unyielding laws of the wild. As time passes, the pressure only intensifies. Every successful hunt strengthens the pride, but every failure exposes weakness. A dominant male must balance constant vigilance with the need to recover, knowing that even a brief injury can invite invasion. Lionesses play a quieter but equally critical role in this competition. They assess the strength of their leaders, subtly shifting loyalty when power changes. Their cooperation determines whether a male's reign is stable or fragile, and their behavior often signals when a takeover is imminent. Rival coalitions add another layer of danger. 2 or 3 males working together can overwhelm even the strongest ruler. These alliances are built on strategy rather than trust, bound by a shared goal of conquest rather than loyalty. When they strike with precision. exploiting numbers and coordination. The aftermath of takeover is tense and volatile. The new rulers must immediately secure their claim, re-establish boundaries, and defend against counterattacks. Exhausted from battle, they are at their most vulnerable, yet they cannot afford to rest. Supremacy, once claimed, must be enforced without hesitation. For younger males within the pride, the cycle is already beginning. They observe every clash, every roar, every victory and defeat. One day, they too will be driven out, forced to wander the margins of the savannah, carrying the lessons of violence and survival with them. This relentless cycle shapes the entire ecosystem. The rise and fall of kings determines hunting patterns, cub survival, and the balance of power across vast landscapes. Each battle sends ripples through the grasslands. In the end, the story of lions is not one of peace or permanence. It is a story of constant rivalry, where strength is tested repeatedly and authority is always temporary. In this unforgiving world, supremacy is never given. It is taken, defended, and inevitably lost. A sun-scorched ocean of grass, a vast chessboard of life and death with nowhere to hide. This is the Serengeti. The cheetah's speed is subdued by the unity of a baboon troop. The lion's strength bows to the relentless tenacity of the wildebeest. Hunter and prey, who will fall first? Leave your thoughts below, and let us move on. Wild Serengeti, a predator's deadly playground. The dry season on the Serengeti Plains. Most animals have sought refuge from the searing 32 degrees Celsius heat, but the cheetah enjoys no such privilege. Hunger does not permit it to rest. The predator has found the ideal ambush site. The shimmering haze cannot obscure the vision of a creature capable of spotting prey from 5 kilometers away. Its target is a mere 50 meters ahead, a solitary warthog. Thick paw pads and a digitigrade stance, walking on its toes, allow the cheetah to approach in near silence. Tall grass conceals its slender frame, a silent ghost amid the blinding sunlight. The gap closes to 30 meters. The cheetah has entered its kill zone. At this range, its legendary acceleration delivers the highest success rate while conserving precious energy. In just 3 seconds, the cheetah reaches a speed of 96 kilometers per hour. Its stride stretches to 7 meters, powered by a flexible spine that coils and uncoils like a spring. driving the hind legs far forward. Semi-retractable claws bite deep into the earth like spikes, delivering absolute traction. But the warthog is no easy target. Its speed is only half that of the cheetah, around 50 kilometers per hour. Yet a low center of gravity allows it to corner relentlessly. Darting in a frustrating zigzag pattern, the cheetah is forced to swing its 80-centimeter tail to maintain balance and stay locked onto its prey. Salvation appears for the warthog, an abandoned aardvark burrow. Most predators would abandon the chase the moment the warthog disappears underground. But hunger has eclipsed the cheetah's caution. It has committed to a high-stakes gamble. The greatest danger lies in the warthog's tusks, measuring between 25 and 50 centimeters. When retreating into a burrow, the warthog rarely enters headfirst. Instead, it backs in, presenting its armored skull and razor-sharp tusks outward. In that instant, the burrow becomes an impregnable fortress. Any cheetah or lion reckless enough to probe that darkness risks a devastating gore. Many inexperienced predators have paid the price with torn snouts or permanent blindness when attempting to breach this doorway of death. The warthog's upper tusks curve upward, sharpening the lower pair each time the jaws close. The constant grinding forms a self-sharpening mechanism, producing daggers so lethal they can slice flesh with a simple shake of the head. In the worst-case scenario, when no burrow is within reach, the warthog chooses the most violent option: counterattack. A mature male warthog can weigh up to 100 kilograms. Charging at nearly 50 kilometers per hour, that mass generates terrifying kinetic energy, like a cannonball slamming directly into its enemy. For the slender cheetah, such an impact is often a death sentence. Yet warthogs prefer to avoid confrontation. They move quietly through elephant grass, towering above their heads. A leader guides the group, tail held upright at a precise 90-degree angle. The tuft of hair at its tip becomes a living beacon, guiding the others safely through the grass. In this dense sea of grass, the signal helps the family maintain formation and prevents any member from becoming separated. This discipline is a matter of survival, because in the Serengeti, danger comes not only from the lightning-fast sprints of the cheetah. Between the warthog and the cheetah, whose survival skills impress you more? Let us know your choice in the comments below. Spanning over 30,000 square kilometers, this ecosystem supports the largest concentration of animal biomass on the planet. Around 4,000 lions and approximately 1,000 leopards patrol this land every single day, maintaining a fragile balance. Within this intricate food web, warthogs act as biological plows. Their constant digging for roots aerates the dry soil and promotes the regeneration of grass. Conversely, the cheetah regulates prey populations, eliminating the weak and diseased from the herd. Two silent warriors, each shaping the ecosystem in their own way. For the warthog, Serenera is paradise, the green heart of the Serengeti. Here, vegetation remains lush year-round, nourished by underground rivers flowing beneath the plains. But this paradise comes at a steep price. Serenera is also the capital of apex predators. It is the realm of Africa's most powerful lion prides. A lion's hunt for a warthog is a test of endurance. In theory, the lion is faster. The king of the savannah can unleash bursts of speed reaching 80 kilometers per hour. But its heart is small relative to its massive body, and dense muscle generates extreme heat. As a result, a lion can sprint for only about 200 meters. The warthog is not naturally a long-distance runner of the Serengeti. However, its compact body and efficient respiratory system allow it to sustain high speeds over longer distances than the lion. Here, the endurance of the weaker defeats the explosive power of the strong. Having escaped countless life-or-death chases, the warthog finally finds time to relax. Near termite mounds or dense thickets, a scene unfolds that seems lifted straight from a Hollywood film. A warthog lies flat on the ground, allowing a troop of banded mongooses to climb across its body. The image instantly recalls Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King. This is no cartoon fantasy. It is a serious biological transaction. Living among mud and burrows, the warthog becomes a magnet for parasites. Ticks, fleas, and lice are invisible enemies, draining blood and spreading deadly disease. Without assistance, its health would rapidly decline. This is where the mongoose troop plays its role. To them, the warthog is a moving banquet, offering a free, protein-rich feast. They scour every fold of skin, the ears, even the eyes, stripping away ticks with meticulous precision. The partnership is so effective that the warthog slips into a trance-like stillness, surrendering completely to these tiny cleaners. But as the moment of calm fades, the brutal reality of survival in the Serengeti returns once more. In the nearby bush, the Serengeti's most silent predator lies in wait: the leopard. The warthog senses nothing. Danger crouches just meters away. Rosette patterns across the leopard's coat fracture its outline, allowing the hunter to dissolve into shifting light and shadow. Eyes 7 times sharper than a human's lock onto a single point, the jugular vein. When the distance closes to less than 5 meters, violence erupts. The leopard is built for sudden death. Its body is packed with fast twitch muscle, optimized for explosive strikes rather than prolonged chases. Speed is not sustained here, it is unleashed. The hunt is over, but the meal cannot yet begin. Like the cheetah, the leopard does not fear the warthog's burrows. To a predator, these tunnels promise prey without pursuit. Reduced collarbones form floating clavicles, allowing the leopard to compress its shoulders and slide into impossibly narrow spaces. But victory is brief. Even in the most secluded refuge, safety is never guaranteed. This is the moment when nature's harshest law is enforced. The strong take what they want. The leopard escapes only just, spared from the claws of the king of the savannah. There is regret for the unfinished meal, but survival comes first. This is a battle it cannot win. mature male leopard weighs no more than 60 to 80 kilograms. The lion, by contrast, is a biological tank, exceeding 200 kilograms, nearly 3 times heavier. With a bite force of 650 pounds per square inch, the lion can crush bone with ease. The leopard is an agile and precise assassin, but brute strength is not a contest. In this arena, the lion dominates completely. Science names this phenomenon kleptoparasitism. Nearly 20% of a leopard's kills are stolen by lions or hyenas. For the lion, theft is an efficient strategy, conserving energy by taking what others have earned. If you were a predator of the Serengeti, would you choose to be a lion, a leopard, or a cheetah? For the cheetah, this rivalry is distant. On the southern plains of the Serengeti, lions appear only briefly each year, following the Great Migration. The landscape here is flat and exposed, stripped of trees and cover, a poor hunting ground for kings. This is the largest natural death racetrack on Earth, and on this open stage, the cheetah shines brightest. Here, female cheetahs hunt Thompson's gazelle almost daily. Hunger presses hard, and cubs wait in the grass. The weight of survival drives the predator into a state of absolute focus. One mistake could mean the end. The numbers are unforgiving. Only 5% of cheetah cubs survive to adulthood. Every sprint is a life-or-death gamble that cannot be lost. The cheetah must advance openly, yet cautiously, but the barren terrain offers nowhere to hide. The chase ignites the instant the gazelle senses danger and explodes into flight. A formidable quarry. Today is a fortunate day. The predator and her cubs will no longer be tormented by hunger, but the cheetah cannot return to them just yet. Even 20 minutes after the hunt has ended, her body temperature continues to rise. She is forced to rest. This is the cheetah's most vulnerable moment, and the baboons know it well. They approach without hesitation, their intent unmistakable, revealed by canines longer than 5 centimeters. Under the command of aggressive alpha males, the troop demands surrender. They lay siege with chilling precision. The pounding of the ground, the savage screams, the cold stares of hunger, all combine into a brutal psychological assault designed to break the cheetah's will. Against the ferocity of the baboon troop, the cheetah is helpless. Here, the tragedy of evolutionary trade-offs becomes painfully clear. To become the fastest creature on Earth, the cheetah signed a harsh contract with nature, sacrificing strength in exchange for speed. Its skeletal frame is slender. If the baboons discover them, there will be no mercy. Eliminating future competitors is a calculated strategy. Confronting baboons has never been a wise choice. Solitude is a fatal weakness for a female cheetah, but this rule does not apply to males. They form coalitions, hunting together and defending their kills. A cheetah coalition usually consists of 2 or 3 brothers from the same litter. Unity allows them to challenge larger and more dangerous prey. A blue wildebeest is a prime example. This is a high-risk physical gamble. An adult wildebeest can weigh up to 250 kilograms, 5 times the mass of a single cheetah. It is a living tank, armored with thick hide, curved horns, and razor-sharp hooves capable of crushing a skull. For a lone cheetah, attacking a wildebeest is suicide. For a coalition, it becomes a strategy of surround and dismantle. The hunt ends in decisive victory. The cheetah coalition feeds calmly, without urgency. Unity removes the need to gorge or hide the carcass. In the Serengeti, we are accustomed to seeing the cheetah as a solitary sprinter. But when these warriors unite, even biological tanks must yield. Is there an undiscovered land mammal faster than the cheetah, still waiting to be found? The Serengeti is not merely the kingdom of the lion, nor simply the rat track of the cheetah. It is a brutal, crowded hierarchy where every ecological niche is claimed by a specialized lineage of killers. Apex predators, the architects of balance, have kept this ecosystem trending smoothly for millions of years. Forget the image of cowardly scavengers portrayed in animated films. Hyena society is built on strict hierarchy. Every clan is led not by a male, but by a powerful alpha female, larger and more aggressive than the rest. Rank determines everything: access to food, protection, and survival itself. From birth, each hyena knows its place, and every interaction reinforces it. Unlike lions, hyenas rarely fight alone. Their strength lies in cooperation. Calls echo across the plains, summoning clan members from kilometers away. What begins as a single confrontation can quickly become an overwhelming force of dominance. Competition among hyenas is constant and internal. Cubs fight from their earliest days, establishing rank through biting, pushing, and intimidation. These early battles decide who eats first and who risks starvation. In this society, weakness is not forgiven. Against rivals, hyenas are strategic and patient. They harass, test, and exhaust their opponents, using endurance rather than speed. Where lions rely on decisive strikes, hyenas wear enemies down, turning chaos into advantage. Their jaws, among the strongest in the animal kingdom, allow them to consume what others cannot. Bone, sinew, and scraps become valuable resources, reducing dependence on fresh kills and giving them resilience in harsh conditions. Encounters between hyenas and lions are inevitable and explosive. Each species understands the other's strengths. Hyenas probe in numbers, gauging resolve, while lions rely on intimidation and brute force. Control shifts constantly, determined by confidence, coalition size, and timing. In the shadows of the savannah, hyenas thrive not as scavengers, but as calculated competitors. Their success is built on structure, communication, and a ruthless social order that leaves no room for hesitation. In the struggle for supremacy, hyenas prove that power does not always belong to the strongest, but to those who work together without fear. Within the clan, dominance must be defended as fiercely as territory. The alpha female rules through constant assertion, reinforcing her position with aggression, posture, and control of resources. Even high-ranking individuals are never fully secure. One moment of hesitation can invite challenge. Female hyenas inherit rank through their mothers, creating powerful bloodlines that shape the future of the clan. Males, by contrast, live on the margins. They are born subordinate and remain so, forced to earn acceptance through patience and submission. Survival for them depends not on strength, but endurance and social awareness. Competition intensifies when food is scarce. Carcasses become battlegrounds where rank is tested and alliances are strained. Screams and laughter fill the air as individuals push forward, each trying to secure a place at the feast. In these moments, hierarchy is enforced with brutal efficiency. Hyenas are also masters of psychological warfare. Their vocalizations confuse and intimidate rivals, projecting numbers that may not exist. Even lions, kings of brute force, hesitate when faced with a coordinated clan moving as one. Territorial conflict between clans can last for generations. Borders are constantly probed, and patrols turn into ambushes. These wars are not short encounters but prolonged struggles, where persistence often outweighs strength. Victory is measured not in a single kill, but in control of land and resources over time. Cubs grow up surrounded by this tension. From an early age, they witness dominance asserted and challenged, learning that survival depends on position and loyalty. Play becomes practice, and every interaction prepares them for the rigid structure they must one day navigate. Despite their reputation, hyenas are highly successful predators. They hunt cooperatively, isolating the weak and driving prey to exhaustion. Each kill reinforces the clan's unity and its ability to control the landscape. In the broader battle for supremacy, hyenas represent a different philosophy of power. Where others rely on size or strength, they rely on structure, communication, and unwavering coordination. In the unforgiving wild, this makes them not just survivors, but formidable rulers in their own right. As the seasons change, the balance of power shifts once again. Drought compresses the savanna, forcing predators into closer contact and intensifying every rivalry. For hyenas, this pressure amplifies both opportunity and danger. Scarcity tests the strength of the clan and exposes any weakness in leadership. Long-distance communication becomes critical. Whoops and calls carry through the night, mapping the presence of allies and rivals alike. These sounds are not random noise, but a living network, allowing clans to mobilize rapidly and defend their interests across vast territories. When confronting lions, hyenas rarely seek immediate confrontation. Instead, they wait. They circle. They test resolve through persistence. A single lion may dominate a skirmish, but a coordinated clan can overwhelm through sheer presence and endurance. Timing, not courage, decides the outcome. The alpha female must constantly assess risk. Pushing too hard invites injury. Retreating too often invites rebellion. Leadership in a hyena clan is a balance of aggression and calculation, where every decision shapes the survival of dozens. Young hyenas learn quickly that rank offers protection. Those born high feed first and grow stronger. while those below must fight harder for every advantage. This inequality is not softened by compassion. It is reinforced daily, ensuring that only the most resilient endure. Territorial dominance brings stability, but never peace. Rival clans continue to probe boundaries, searching for moments of vulnerability. Patrols are relentless, and clashes erupt without warning. These encounters can end in brutal losses, yet they are essential to maintaining control. Through cooperation, hyenas transform chaos into order. Their society, harsh and unforgiving, allows them to thrive where others fail. They do not rely on moments of heroism, but on collective force and relentless pressure. In the endless contest for supremacy, hyenas remind the savannah of a simple truth. Power is not only about strength or speed, but about unity, discipline, and the will to outlast every rival. Lurking on the periphery of this war is the silent figure of the African wild dog. In the Serengeti, encountering a pack is a rare moment. Classified as endangered, they roam like exiles in their own homeland. Their scientific name, Lycaon pictus, means painted wolf, and each individual wears a unique coat of chaotic black, gold, and white patterns. No two African wild dogs share the same pattern, but do not let that vibrant abstract appearance deceive you. What looks like living artwork is in fact disruptive camouflage, designed to dissolve their bodies into the fractured light and shadow of the bush. They survey their surroundings with massive rounded ears that function like satellite dishes, capturing distant sound signals with remarkable precision, a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering. Silent they may appear, but African wild dogs are the true assassins of the savannah. Lions succeed in only 25 to 30% of their hunts, while African wild dogs achieve success rates of up to 85%. Once the pack commits to a chase, the prey's death warrant is all but signed. Discipline and endurance define their lethal efficiency. The hunt begins at speeds approaching 60 kilometers per hour, and the entire formation sustains that velocity for astonishing lengths of time. They rotate the lead runners seamlessly, one replacing another, in a relentless relay that never stops. The prey does not die from wounds, but from exhaustion, and when death comes, it comes swiftly. African wild dogs consume their kills with astonishing speed, finishing within minutes to ensure they are gone before lions arrive to steal the carcass. Yet the brutality of the hunt stands in stark contrast to the tenderness of their social life. Within the pack, altruism is absolute. After a successful hunt, adults return to the den to feed pups, the elderly, and the injured. There is no fighting over food. Pups always eat first, and even a dog with a broken leg, unable to hunt, will be fed and protected until it recovers. This spirit of cooperation is the glue that holds the pack together, allowing them to survive the immense pressures of their world. But the tragedy of the African wild dog lies in its nomadic existence. Too small to defend a fixed territory against lions or hyenas, survival depends on constant movement. Their home range can stretch across thousands of kilometers. Yet, the Serengeti is shrinking under the weight of human expansion and climate change. With nowhere left to run, these painted hunters are slowly fading into history, leaving behind an unfillable void in Africa's wild tapestry. Within that vast mosaic, if you look closely into the tall grass, another assassin reveals itself: the serval. A small cat balanced on improbably long legs, it appears almost like a mistake of creation. It is a biological design perfected for hunting the unseen. The serval possesses the longest legs relative to body size of any cat on Earth. These limbs act as living stilts, lifting its body above the ground and allowing it to move lightly through dense elephant grass that blinds other predators. Its enormous oval ears function like parabolic dishes, rotating independently through 180 degrees to detect ultrasonic frequencies beyond the range of human hearing. In this sea of grass, sight is useless. The serval hunts by sound alone. It stands motionless, ears constantly adjusting, waiting for the faintest whisper of movement beneath the green veil. They are performing precise audio triangulation, pinpointing the exact location of a mouse moving beneath thick grass several meters away. Once the target is locked, the serval unleashes its signature strike. It compresses its body and launches straight upward, tracing a graceful arc that can reach heights of 2 to 3 meters before crashing down like an air-to-ground missile. The serval hurls its entire body weight onto its front paws, delivering a stunning blow at the exact moment it hits the ground. The impact is powerful enough to kill the rodent instantly, or render it unconscious before it even realizes what has happened. The efficiency of this hunting machine is staggering. The serval achieves a kill rate of up to 50%. 1 life taken for every 2 attempts, the highest success rate among wild cats in Africa. Yet relentless competition in the Serengeti has forced the serval to adapt in extraordinary ways. By nature, cats are creatures of the night, but here, darkness belongs to lions and hyenas. To avoid these dominant predators, the serval has shifted its biological clock, becoming a daytime hunter. It hunts while the lions sleep, exploiting a narrow window of opportunity to monopolize its food supply. And that food supply plays a vital role in maintaining the health of the savanna. Each serval consumes thousands of rodents every year. Without this silent pest control force, rodent populations would explode, devastating grasses and seeds, and stripping the Serengeti of its green foundation. Which predator has impressed you the most? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and keep watching to discover what other hidden assassins the Serengeti has yet to reveal. In a world ruled by giants, small predators must choose one of 2 paths to survive: invisible speed or reckless courage. The black-backed jackal chooses the second. Do not let its modest size deceive you. These are not passive scavengers waiting on the fringes of a feast. They are the most audacious thieves of the Serengeti, bold enough to challenge death itself by stealing meat from the jaws of lions. This behavior is known as active kleptoparasitism. When a pride of lions is tearing into a kill, the black-backed jackal does not retreat. Instead, it charges in with astonishing aggression, a display of cold calculation and nerves of steel. Working in pairs or small groups, they employ a carefully orchestrated diversion. One jackal darts forward, barking loudly and even snapping at a lion's tail or hind legs to draw its attention. As the enraged lion turns to retaliate, the second jackal flashes in like lightning, snatches a chunk of meat, and vanishes into the bush. It is a dance with death, memorized down to the smallest movement. The distance between a full belly and a lethal blow is measured in millimeters. Yet the black-backed jackal rarely loses. It is too fast, too agile, and understands the psychology of its larger rivals too well. Behind this ferocity, however, lies one of the most remarkable family systems in the animal kingdom. Black-backed jackals are devoted romantics. They form lifelong monogamous bonds, defending territory together, hunting together, and growing old side by side. But their greatest achievement lies in how they raise their young. The black-backed jackal employs the helpers at the den strategy. When a new litter is born, offspring from the previous litter choose to stay, accepting the sacrifice of their own breeding opportunities for an entire year to help their parents raise younger siblings. This is a genetic investment strategy. The Serengeti has an extremely high mortality rate for pups due to other predators. The presence of these nanny siblings, guarding the den and bringing back food, increases the survival rate of the litter many times over. The black-backed jackal family operates like a closed, disciplined military unit. And finally, the secret weapon that allows them to thrive while others decline is a superior immune system. The Serengeti is a hotbed of disease. Distemper and rabies frequently sweep across the savannah like storms of death, wiping out entire packs of African wild dogs and even lions. But not the black-backed jackal. Their bodies possess an extraordinary natural resistance. They survive pandemics that kill their larger competitors. They are the ultimate survivors, tenacious creatures clinging to this harsh land through recklessness, loyalty, and a genome of steel. If the Serengeti is a battlefield, then the Grumeti and Mara rivers are deadly gauntlets. Hidden beneath the murky waters is a creature that has existed since the age of dinosaurs, one that has barely needed to change its biological design for over 200 million years. The Nile crocodile, the most patient predator on Earth. When the dry season arrives and the rivers recede, the Nile crocodile withdraws, slowing its heart rate to the absolute minimum. It can hold its breath underwater for up to 2 hours while active and up to 8 hours while resting. It becomes an inanimate log, waiting for the greatest event of the year, the Great Migration. When millions of wildebeest and zebras are forced to cross the river, the Nile crocodile strikes. The crocodile snap is a masterpiece of hydraulics. Its jaws generate a bite force of up to 5,000 pounds per square inch, 5 times stronger than a hyena, and 8 times stronger than a lion. The impact is equivalent to dropping a small truck onto the prey's body. Once those conical teeth lock shut, nothing escapes. But crocodile teeth cannot cut or chew. Instead, flesh is torn apart using pure physics. This is where the death roll begins. The crocodile clamps down on its victim and spins its body along its longitudinal axis at dizzying speed. The terrifying torque allows it to dismember prey with brutal efficiency. It is a horrifying spectacle, but the only effective feeding method available. After swallowing massive chunks of meat, the Nile crocodile activates another secret weapon, a superacid digestive system. Its stomach secretes acid with an exceptionally low pH, powerful enough to dissolve not only flesh, but bone, horn, hooves, and even steel. This system allows the crocodile to absorb nearly 100% of the nutrients, enabling it to survive for months without food. Yet the life of this cold-blooded predator depends entirely on the sun. On scorching Serengeti afternoons, these ancient monsters lie motionless on the riverbank, mouths gaping wide. This behavior is known as gaping. Though menacing in appearance, Thanks to this, their brains are not cooked under the 40-degree heat. But the greatest surprise of this cold-blooded assassin lies not in its strength, but in a mother's heart. The Nile crocodile is one of the very few reptiles to display profound maternal care. After laying her eggs in sandy pits along the riverbanks, the mother fasts and guards the nest for 3 full months, defending her unborn brood against relentless egg thieves such as monitor lizards and baboons. When the eggs finally hatch, those terrifying jaws capable of crushing bone become unexpectedly gentle. With remarkable precision, she uses them to softly scoop each tiny hatchling and release it safely into the water. The tenderness of this ancient monster is a striking paradox, a reminder that in the wild, brutality and love often walk side by side to sustain life. The leopard lives by a different code entirely. Where others rely on numbers or open dominance, the leopard survives through secrecy. Solitary by nature, leopards avoid competition whenever possible. Their territories overlap with lions, hyenas, and wild dogs, yet they persist by staying unseen. Every movement is calculated, every step taken in silence. Unlike lions, leopards do not announce their presence. They hunt alone, often under cover of darkness, using stealth rather than speed. A single mistake can cost them a meal or their life. Competition for leopards is constant but indirect. They face pressure not through open battle, but through theft and intimidation. Larger predators steal kills, forcing leopards to adapt or starve. Their response is ingenuity. Leopards drag prey into trees, lifting carcasses heavier than themselves into the branches. Beyond the reach of rivals, they secure their reward. Territory is defended quietly. Scent markings and scratch marks communicate ownership without confrontation. Physical fights are rare, but when they occur, they are fast and brutal. Injury is a risk a solitary hunter cannot afford. Leopards thrive where others struggle. From dense forests to open savannas, they adjust their behavior to match the terrain. This flexibility makes them one of Africa's most widespread predators. In the struggle for supremacy, leopards do not seek control of the land. They seek survival through mastery of shadow and silence. In a world dominated by noise and force, the leopard endures by remaining unseen. For a leopard, patience is a weapon as powerful as strength. Hours can pass without movement as it waits in cover, watching, calculating distance, wind, and timing. The attack when it comes is explosive and precise, ending the struggle in seconds. Unlike pack hunters, leopards must succeed alone. A failed hunt means wasted energy and increased risk of exposure. Every decision carries weight, and efficiency is essential. This constant pressure shapes them into highly disciplined predators. Competition intensifies around waterholes and game trails, where prey is predictable and rivals are nearby. Leopards move through these areas cautiously, often changing routes to avoid detection. Survival depends on anticipation rather than confrontation. Mothers face an even greater challenge. Cubs are hidden in dense cover, moved frequently to avoid predators and discovery. A single mistake can cost an entire litter. The female hunts relentlessly, balancing risk and reward with no margin for error. Young leopards learn through observation. They follow their mother in silence, practicing stealth and restraint long before they attempt a kill. Independence comes early, and those who fail to master caution rarely survive. Even strength has limits. Leopards avoid direct conflict with lions and hyenas, retreating when necessary. Pride does not guide their actions, survival does. Yet when circumstances allow, leopards can dominate silently. Their ability to exploit terrain, darkness, and surprise allows them to kill prey larger than themselves and vanish before rivals arrive. In the broader contest of the wild, the leopard stands apart. It does not rule through force or unity, but through adaptability and precision. In an ecosystem shaped by constant competition, the leopard survives by knowing when to strike and when to disappear. In the end, the leopard's story is not one of conquest, but of endurance. It survives not by ruling the savannah, but by understanding it, reading its rhythms, its dangers, and its fleeting opportunities. While other predators clash openly for dominance, the leopard chooses a quieter path. It yields when necessary, strikes when conditions are perfect, and vanishes before retaliation can follow. Every decision is measured, every risk carefully weighed. Its strength lies in balance, power and restraint, boldness and caution. In this harmony, the leopard finds a way to persist where others fall. Across generations, this strategy has allowed leopards to outlast rivals, adapt to changing landscapes, and remain one of Africa's most resilient hunters. They do not need numbers, nor unquestioned authority. They need only silence, patience, and precision. In the great battle for supremacy, the leopard never claims the throne, yet it endures long after kings have fallen. And in that quiet survival, hidden in shadow and stillness, lies the true mastery of the leopard. Once spread across nearly every corner of Africa, the cheetah, the fastest predator on Earth, has now been reduced to fewer of Africa's 54 nations. Only about 25 still hold wild cheetahs. In many places, they vanished silently, leaving behind. In Zambia, fewer than 100 remain, confined to just 2 strongholds, Kafue National Park and Liwa Plain. Kafue harbors the largest share, though even here, the population numbers only around 60 adults. These cats are the product of millions of years of evolution. Fossils from Olduvai Gorge trace their lineage back over 3 million years to the Pliocene epoch. Yet repeated genetic bottlenecks across time have left the species with strikingly low diversity, a vulnerability that makes them more fragile in the face of climate change, disease, and shrinking habitats. Though often solitary, male cheetahs frequently band together in coalitions, most often brothers, whose teamwork brings greater success on the hunt. In the greater Kafue landscape, including Busanga, a 2024 survey by the Zambian Carnivore Program recorded just 44 cheetahs across 18 groups. Fragile in number, yet vital in role, they remain a critical thread in the ecological fabric of the plains. By keeping antelope herds in check, they protect grasslands from overgrazing, maintaining the delicate cycles of water, nutrients, and carbon that sustain this floodplain. In the Busanga Plains, life never slows. As the Lufupa River recedes during the dry season, herds of red lekwe, puku, and impala gather on the newly exposed grasslands. Here, the cheetah's mastery reveals itself. Beneath the golden light of sunset, a silent shadow moves through the tall grass. Unlike the roar of a lion or the power of a leopard, the cheetah holds but one defining gift: speed. It edges closer to a young antelope strayed from the herd, each step soundless as a passing breeze. At 30 meters, its body coils like a spring, then explodes. In 3 seconds, it reaches nearly 100 kilometers per hour, faster than a sports car, spine flexing like a whip, each stride stretching 7 meters across the earth. Its long tail acts as a rudder, guiding the chase as the quarry twists and turns. Non-retractable claws grip the ground like a sprinter's cleats. Its heart hammers, lungs drawing great gulps of air, all fueling a burst that lasts less than a minute. If the hunt succeeds, silence follows. The antelope lies still, and the cheetah feeds quickly, head low, wary of interruption. In the wild, the slow go hungry, but the loud risk losing everything. A single careless sound could draw scavengers. Lions may not match the cheetah's speed, but they hold a power no cheetah can challenge. The ecological tapestry of the Serengeti is not woven by predators alone. This landscape is constantly reshaped by colossal grazing machines, creatures we call the architects. Without them, the Serengeti as we know it would collapse, swallowed by impenetrable thorn thickets. The African bush elephant is one of these architects. It survives without fangs or claws. Standing up to 4 meters tall and weighing as much as 6 tons, it is a living force of nature. Even the fiercest predators tread carefully in its presence. Scientists classify the African bush elephant as a keystone species. Remove it, and the Serengeti would unravel. To sustain its immense body, an adult elephant consumes up to 300 kilograms of vegetation every day. In doing so, it becomes a walking demolition machine, toppling trees, snapping branches, and crushing dense thickets underfoot. By preventing vegetation from growing too dense, elephants stop the savanna from transforming into closed forest. They tear open the land, allowing sunlight to reach the soil so grasses can thrive. These grasses feed millions of antelope and zebra. Without elephants, there would be no open plains for cheetahs to sprint across. During the dry season, when rivers fade into dust, elephants take on yet another role, that of hydraulic engineers. Using their tusks and dexterous trunks, they dig deep into dry riverbeds to reach hidden underground aquifers. These elephant wells become the only lifeline for countless species. Once the elephants finish drinking, lions, hyenas, and even small birds are able to access this precious water source. Anatomically, the African bush elephant is equipped with 2 extraordinary evolutionary tools: tusks and trunk. Tusks are elongated incisors that grow continuously throughout life. They serve as crowbars for digging roots, weapons in combat, and tools for stripping bark from ancient baobab trees. The trunk, however, is a masterpiece of biological engineering. Containing no bones, it is composed of more than 40,000 individual muscle fascicles. It is powerful enough to lift a 300-kilogram tree trunk, yet delicate enough to pick up a single blade of grass. But physical strength is only half the story. The African bush elephant rules the Serengeti, not through brute force, but through wisdom and connection. Elephant society is governed by a strict matriarchy. At its heart stands the oldest female, the matriarch. She is not the strongest member of the herd, but she is its living library. Within her immense brain lies a massively developed temporal lobe, the region responsible for storing spatial memory. The matriarch remembers the precise location of every waterhole and every safe migration route she has traveled across her 60-year life. During devastating droughts, her memory becomes the survival map for the entire clan. Elephants also communicate in ways humans cannot perceive. African bush elephants use infrasound, ultra-low frequency calls below 20 Hz. These sound waves can travel for dozens of kilometers, penetrating forests and rolling hills. Even more remarkably, elephants listen with their feet. Beneath their massive soles lie fatty pads filled with highly sensitive posinium corpuscles, capable of detecting faint seismic vibrations. Through the ground, a herd can sense the footsteps of another herd or detect danger from more than 10 kilometers away. They are, in effect, operating an underground communication network. The African bush elephant possesses an emotional life as complex as our own. They experience grief. When encountering the bones of a deceased relative, the entire herd will stop. In silence, they gently touch the skull and tusks with their trunks, paying solemn respect. In the harsh and unforgiving Sangeti, the elephant stands as an embodiment of memory, wisdom, and the enduring soul of the continent. In the heart of the Serenera, there lies a place known as the Retina Pool. From a distance, it appears to be nothing more than a pile of giant gray boulders resting silently in muddy water. But as one draws closer, the overwhelming stench and deep guttural growls reveal the truth. This is no rock formation. It is hundreds of hippos packed tightly together, forming a living mass known as hippo soup. The hippopotamus is one of the most misunderstood animals on Earth. They appear rotund, slow, and almost comical. Yet, in reality, they are among the most aggressive amphibious tanks on the continent. Despite spending most of their lives in water, hippos cannot swim. Their bodies are simply too dense to float. Their solid bones cause them to sink immediately. Instead of swimming, they gallop along the riverbed. Hippos move like astronauts in low gravity, using the buoyancy of water to launch themselves forward in powerful bounding strides. Despite weighing between 1.5 to 3 tons, their dependence on water is driven by their extremely sensitive skin. Under the relentless ultraviolet radiation of the Serengeti sun, hippo skin would crack and dehydrate within minutes. To survive, nature has armed them with a remarkable adaptation. If observed closely, red blood-like droplets can be seen oozing from their skin. This is not blood, it is blood sweat, a mucus secretion containing 2 acidic pigments. One of these compounds, hipposudoric acid, acts both as a natural sunscreen, absorbing ultraviolet radiation, and as a powerful antiseptic. It protects the hippo from infection while they remain submerged in murky waters thick with bacteria and waste. But the true danger of the hippo lies not in its skin, but in its mouth. At the retina pool, you will often see hippos opening their mouths as wide as possible. That is the threat yawn. A hippo can open its jaws to nearly 150 degrees, revealing a lethal arsenal. Lower canines up to 50 centimeters long, sharp as razors, and hard as ivory. This is the final warning. If that warning is ignored, the hippo will attack. With a bite force nearing 2,000 pounds per square inch, it can snap a crocodile in two or crush a small boat. They are the deadliest large mammal in Africa. The hippo of the day and the hippo of the night seem like 2 entirely different creatures. By day, they are social beings, gathering in the water to cool off and conserve energy. But when the sun sets, the hippo leaves the water, becoming solitary and sullen. They follow familiar paths, known as hippo highways, to graze. A single hippo can walk up to 10 kilometers and consume 40 kilograms of grass every night. Their role as ecological engineers lies in nutrient transport. They graze on land and defecate in the water. Tons of this organic matter nourish the aquatic ecosystem, feeding fish and insects and sustaining the life of the entire river. And And finally, their relationship with their neighbor, the Nile crocodile, exists as a tense peace treaty. You will often see crocodiles sunbathing on the backs of hippos. This is respect rooted in fear. The crocodile knows its limits. An adult crocodile may be the king of the river, but against a furious male hippo defending his territory, it becomes nothing more than a brittle twig. In these waters, size and madness are the law, and the hippo is the supreme judge. Beneath the surface of the Lunga and Lufupa rivers lies more than the small fish hunted by the African fish eagle. Hidden in the depths drifts a true giant, the Nile crocodile. Here, individuals rank among the largest anywhere on the continent. Adults in the Lufupa can stretch over 5 meters and weigh more than 700 kilograms, while a few exceptional males exceed 6 meters. Silent leviathans, moving just beneath the water's skin. Their strength is not only in size, but in design. The jaw muscles that close are among the most powerful in the animal kingdom, able to shatter bone with a single snap. By contrast, the muscles that open are weak, an evolutionary paradox that makes the bite devastating but the jaws easy to restrain. In these rivers, flowing year-round, crocodiles command a perfect ambush ground. They wait motionless for hours, only eyes, ears, and nostrils breaking the surface, indistinguishable from floating logs among papyrus and reeds. When wildebeest, buffalo, or zebra come to drink, the stillness erupts. A sudden surge underwater at 12 to 14 kilometers an hour, jaws clamping, prey dragged beneath. For larger kills, they unleash the infamous death roll, a violent spin that tears bodies into swallowable pieces. Yet these reptiles are more than solitary assassins. A hidden social order rules the banks. The largest males dominate prime sandbars where sun meets easy access to prey. Sometimes, when fish gather in the shallows, multiple crocodiles cooperate, sweeping forward in a semicircle to herd their quarry. Along the Lufupa's slower waters, this cooperative hunting can turn rivers into traps. Their voices are as varied as their behavior, from the thunderous bellows of males vibrating across the floodplain, to the faint, high-pitched chirps of hatchlings calling from inside their shells. If the Serengeti is a colossal living organism, then the wildebeest is the hot blood flowing ceaselessly through its veins. They are the heartbeat that shapes the rhythm of the entire ecosystem. With an overwhelming population of up to 1.5 million individuals, wildebeest constitute the largest animal biomass on the savanna. Viewed from above, their migrating army resembles a river of black ink surging through a sea of golden grass. An unstoppable force of nature. Their first and most crucial role is that of biological lawnmowers. Wildebeest possess broad muzzles, specially designed to graze on short, nutritious young grass close to the ground. Every day, this army consumes over 4,000 tons of grass. This large-scale grazing stimulates the grass to grow back faster and stronger. At the same time, they deposit nearly 500 tons of dung daily, a massive infusion of fertilizer that regenerates nutrients in the arid soil. Without the wildebeest, the Serengeti grasslands would become overgrown, dry out, and grow vulnerable to fire, shattering the food chain at its roots. But the true miracle of this odd-looking creature lies in its swarm intelligence. The wildebeest has no leader. No alpha gives the orders. Instead, they operate as a superorganism. Every movement is decided through collective instinct and the ancient pull of rain. They can smell moisture and phosphorus in young grass from as far as 50 kilometers away. When one starts running toward the rain, millions follow. What appears to be chaos is, in truth, a perfect survival algorithm. In a crowd of millions, the chance of any single individual being taken by a lion drops to an absolute minimum, and their ultimate survival strategy is synchronized birthing. Every February, on the mineral-rich volcanic plains of the South, a mathematical miracle unfolds. Within just 3 weeks, around 500,000 calves are born, the equivalent of 8,000 births every single day. This is the strategy known as predator saturation. Suddenly, the savannah is flooded with easy prey. Lions, leopards, hyenas, and wild dogs feed until their bellies are stretched to the limit. They cannot consume such an overwhelming number of calves in so short a time. As a result, the majority of the new generation survives its most dangerous chapter. The calves themselves are biological marvels, genetically programmed to flee from the moment of birth. A newborn wildebeest can stand within 7 minutes. After just 20 minutes, it can already run with the herd at a steady pace. The wildebeest is a clear winner in the game of evolution. It transforms individual weakness into the immortal strength of the collective. It is the life source, the driving force, and the enduring soul of the Serengeti. If the wildebeest are the diligent workers of this ecosystem, then the plain zebra are its fearless pioneers. They are always the vanguard, pushing first into the tallest and densest grasslands. This pathfinding role is shaped by the zebra's unique digestive system. Unlike wildebeest, which depend on young grass, the zebra is a hindgut fermenter. Its stomach is designed to process old, tough, nutrient-poor grasses. Zebras consume the coarse, straw-like tops, stripping away the surface layer and revealing the tender green shoots beneath, preparing the land for those that follow. Yet their most striking feature, the black and white striped coat, remains one of evolution's great mysteries. When thousands of zebras move together, their stripes create a motion dazzle effect. Black and white blur into a chaotic optical illusion. For a lion, a predator that relies on locking onto a single target, this is like staring at a television screen filled with static. Head and tail dissolve, boundaries vanish, and individuality disappears. Research as recent as 2024 strengthens another compelling theory. Zebra stripes act as a shield against tsetse flies and blood-sucking horseflies. The light-reflecting structure of the stripes disrupts the insects' navigation systems, making it difficult for them to land. In an ecosystem teeming with pathogens, this pattern functions as one of nature's most advanced biological hazmat suits. Beneath that striking exterior lies a disciplined and tightly bonded society. Plain zebras do not live in chaos. They form stable herds, each led by a dominant male, accompanied by several females and their foals. When pursued by lions, the male often runs at the rear or deliberately breaks away, drawing the predator's attention so his family can escape. His primary weapon is the legendary rear kick. A zebra's kick can generate an impact force of nearly 3,000 pounds per square inch, powerful enough to shatter a lion's jaw or break a hyena's ribs. Their vigilance does not fade with rest. Thanks to a specialized stay apparatus in their legs, zebras can sleep standing up, without expending energy to maintain balance. This posture allows them to transition from sleep to a full sprint in an instant, the moment danger announces itself. And to further strengthen their defenses, plain zebras have forged a strategic alliance with the ostrich, a perfect fusion of senses. The zebra brings exceptional hearing and smell, while the ostrich contributes unmatched long-distance vision. Together they become an early warning system finely tuned for survival on the open plains. Conversely, the ostrich possesses large, keen eyes and a commanding height advantage, functioning as a mobile observation tower, though its sense of smell is weak. Together, zebra and ostrich form a comprehensive early warning radar system. If the ostrich suddenly runs, the zebra follows without hesitation. If the zebra pauses, sniffing the wind with visible unease, the ostrich instantly shifts into high alert. This interspecies cooperation makes them among the most difficult targets for any predator hoping to strike by surprise. In the Moru kopjes, where ancient granite boulders rise like fortresses from a sea of grass, lives a relic from a prehistoric world, a creature built to endure, to fight, and to destroy. This is the black rhinoceros. A more accurate name reveals its true biological purpose, the hooked-lip rhinoceros. Flexible upper lip is a masterpiece of evolution. Acting like a prehensile finger, it allows the black rhinoceros to perform precise, almost surgical feeding on thorny bushes. Its preferred food is the whistling thorn, a plant armed with 7-centimeter spikes, hard as steel and sharp as hypodermic needles. Any other animal would suffer a shredded mouth. The black rhinoceros does not. With lip skin as thick as rubber and exquisite muscular control, it weaves effortlessly through the thorns, targeting the nutritious young leaves beneath. When necessary, it simply crushes the thorns with its powerful grinding jaws. Yet the most infamous trait of the black rhinoceros is its explosive temperament. It is the most solitary, suspicious, and easily provoked animal in the Serengeti. A mature black rhinoceros weighs around 1.4 tons, a living block of armored muscle. When threatened, it does not flee. It seeks to eliminate the danger. From a standstill, this 1.5-ton tank can accelerate to 55 kilometers per hour. The kinetic energy unleashed in a charge rivals that of a small truck slamming into a wall at full speed. Lions or buffalo caught in its path are hurled aside or pierced by its front horn, a weapon made of solid keratin. This aggression, however, is rooted not in malice, but in perception. The black rhinoceros sees poorly. Its vision is effective only within 30 meters. Beyond that, the world dissolves into blurred, threatening shapes. A tree, a lion, or a vehicle all appear the same. Uncertainty triggers action, and so the rhinoceros often strikes first. Aggression, in this case, is fear made kinetic. To compensate for weak eyesight, the black rhinoceros has evolved extraordinary hearing and smell. Funnel-shaped ears rotate independently, pinpointing the snap of a twig from afar. Its nose functions like a living supercomputer. The rhinoceros experiences the world through scent. It marks territory with dung and urine, constructing a detailed olfactory map of borders, rivals, and potential mates. The Moru kopjes remain the last stronghold of the black rhinoceros. The rugged terrain provides water, shelter, and concealment, keeping them hidden from human eyes and human weapons. The black rhinoceros stands as a symbol of ancient resilience, blind, powerful, and uncompromising, a reminder that this land has never tolerated weakness. But if any creature embodies pure rage in the Serengeti, it is the African buffalo. Professional hunters know it as the Black Death, or the Widowmaker. Its defining weapon is a massive pair of horns, curved like twin hooks. Yet the most terrifying feature lies at their base, the boss. In mature males, these horn bases grow thicker and fuse together, forming a solid shield of bone atop the skull. They form a solid bone shield up to 30 centimeters thick. This natural helmet is so hard it can deflect a close-range rifle bullet, or a full-force slap from a lion without a scratch. When the African buffalo attacks, it uses the boss like a sledgehammer to fracture an opponent's ribs, then the sharp tips of the horns hook and toss the enemy into the air. The society of the African buffalo in the Serengeti is divided into two opposing worlds. First are the breeding herds, which can number up to 500 or even 1,000 individuals. This is a mobile fortress operated by crowd intelligence. Scientists have discovered their strange voting mechanism. When resting, adult females lie facing the direction they want to go next. The direction receiving the most votes becomes the herd's path. This consensus helps them find the best pastures and the safest water sources with astonishing accuracy. Second is the group of outcasts, the dagger boys. These are old males past their prime, defeated and expelled from the herd by younger rivals. No longer protected by the herd, they cluster in small groups of 3 or 4 and wallow in mud to cool off and rid themselves of parasites. Do not underestimate them. Dagger boys are the most dangerous individuals. They are ready to launch a preemptive strike against anything that invades their personal space, whether lion or human. However, the African buffalo's ferocity is clearest in its mobbing tactic. They are the only herbivores in Africa that actively hunt down predators. When hearing the distress call of a calf caught by a lion, the herd does not flee. Hundreds of tons of muscle and horn surge forward like a tsunami. They surround the lions, cut off escape routes, and drive the king of the savannah up a tree or crush him beneath their hooves. In the Serengeti, lions kill buffalo for food, but buffalo kill lions out of hatred. And if you ever face a buffalo, you will experience the stare. They stop eating, lift their heads, wet nostrils flaring as they smell your fear. Black eyes look down the length of the nose, locked onto you with cold contempt. They calculate distance, assess the threat, and weigh whether to turn you into part of the Serengeti dust. In that moment, you understand why no animal, including humans, wants to challenge the Black Death. Towering at a height of 5.5 meters, equivalent to a 2-story building, the Masai giraffe is the tallest animal on the planet. They are the living watchtowers of the Serengeti. They are distinguished by dark brown spots with jagged edges resembling grape or oak leaves, a pattern distinctly different from the neat polygonal patches of their northern cousin, the reticulated giraffe. The Masai giraffe's greatest physical challenge is pumping blood to a brain located 2.5 meters above the heart. To achieve this, its heart is a supercharged engine weighing up to 11 kilograms, with ventricular walls 8 centimeters thick. It must generate blood pressure 2.5 times higher than that of a human. However, when the Masai giraffe lowers its head to drink, gravity-driven blood pressure rushing toward the brain becomes strong enough to burst blood vessels. To prevent this, its neck vein system contains a complex network of one-way valves and a structure called the rete mirabile. Acting like a shock absorber, it regulates blood flow and prevents death by brain hemorrhage every time the giraffe bends down to quench its thirst. Masai giraffes are arboreal surgeons. Their favorite food is the leaves of the acacia tree. a species protected by long, razor-sharp thorns. The giraffe's harvesting tool is a tongue reaching up to 50 centimeters in length. This muscular tongue is as flexible as a finger and coated in a thick, glue-like saliva that envelops the thorns, allowing the giraffe to swallow without tearing its esophagus. Notably, the tongue is purple-black or blue-black in color. A Masai giraffe spends up to 12 hours a day extending its tongue to feed beneath the scorching equatorial sun. This dense concentration of melanin acts as a biological sunscreen, shielding the soft tissue from ultraviolet radiation. However, the life of a Masai giraffe is not as peaceful as it appears. Males frequently engage in brutal battles known as necking. Two rivals stand parallel, swinging their 2-meter-long necks like demolition trains. Heads armed with rock-hard ossicones are hurled like wrecking balls into an opponent's ribs. The force of these blows can fracture bones, shatter jaws, or knock a rival unconscious on the spot. The victor earns mating rights, while the defeated often withdrew, bearing injuries that may later prove fatal. Even birth begins with violence. A Masai giraffe gives birth while standing, meaning the calf's first moment in the world is a free fall of nearly 2 meters onto hard ground. The fall appears cruel, but it is essential. The impact ruptures the amniotic sac, severs the umbilical cord, and jolts the lungs into drawing their first breath. In the Serengeti, a calf must stand and run within 30 minutes. Failure means becoming an easy meal for lions or hyenas lurking nearby. With eyes the size of golf balls and near 360-degree vision from an elevated vantage point, the Masai giraffe serves as an early warning system for the entire plain. When zebras or antelopes see giraffes begin to run, they do not question why. They follow. Trust in this living watchtower is one of the most fundamental rules of survival in the Serengeti. As the Nile crocodiles lie in wait beneath the still waters, another figure watches from above. Towering on long legs, draped in stark black and white, the Marabou stork surveys the floodplain, a giant scavenger that embodies nature's stark dualities, both grotesque and majestic. Nicknamed the Undertaker, it cuts an unmistakable silhouette. A bald head and bare pink neck, adaptations for hygienic carcasses, contrast with a vast wingspan that can stretch beyond 3 meters. Standing 1.5 meters tall, weighing up to 9 kilograms, it is built for both patience and endurance. Along the Lunga and Lufupa rivers, they gather at dawn and dusk, roosting in tall trees or waiting motionless by the banks. From here, they scan for opportunity. They are nature's cleanup crew, tearing into the remains of antelope, elephants, or crocodile kills with hooked beaks, recycling death back into life. But scavenger is only part of their story. When food demands rise, particularly in breeding season, their menu expands. Fish, frogs, snakes, fledglings, even the hatchlings of crocodiles themselves. Opportunism becomes strategy, and their kleptoparasitic cunning often sees them stealing meals from vultures or herons. Their aerial grace is no less striking. Hollow bones lighten their bodies, turning them into effortless gliders, riding thermals for hours. Though macabre at a carcass, in the skies they soar with elegance. Marabou storks are highly social, clustering wherever food is abundant, on riverbanks, abattoirs, even landfills. This adaptability has allowed some populations to flourish, but it carries new risks. Plastics and heavy metals infiltrate their diet, seeping into the chain of life they help maintain. Zambia's Mumbo region, riverside thickets provide roosts and nesting grounds. Their nests, rough platforms of branches, are often reused year after year, binding generations to the same trees. After a month of incubation, chicks emerge, dependent on parents until they fledge. They will not breed until around 4 years of age, but in the wild may live for a quarter of a century. Their ecological role is profound. By stripping carcasses clean, they limit the spread of disease. By feeding live prey to their young, they close the loop of predator and scavenger. They are both undertakers and sustainers of the plains. Globally, they are listed as a species of least concern. Yet in parts of West Africa, numbers are falling sharply, a reminder that even the undertaker is not beyond mortality. Amid the dry heat and the iron-rich red soil of Tsavo, one creature strides through time with quiet resilience, the Somali ostrich. In a land that tests every heartbeat, its survival is a tribute to nature's most enduring design. This is not an easy place to live, but in that very harshness, each deliberate step of the Somali ostrich becomes a symbol of endurance, of adaptation, of silent strength. Unlike its more familiar cousin, the Somali ostrich wears no white ring around its neck. Instead, it displays a striking blue, the vivid hue of its neck and thighs glowing even brighter in males during breeding season. That shimmering lapis skin is more than ornamental. It draws mates, yes, but it also reflects an ancient adaptation, tuned perfectly to the brutal glare of the semi-desert sun. A fan of white tail feathers distinguishes the male, replacing the black and white pattern of other ostrich subspecies. It is a subtle signature in a place where the smallest distinctions can mean survival. Standing as tall as a man and often heavier, the Somali ostrich reaches heights of 2.4 meters and weighs up to 115 kilograms. It cannot fly and it does not hunt, but it runs with a speed that defies logic. At 70 kilometers per hour, it escapes danger with thunderous strides, its legs engineered by evolution for speed and power. On the Yada Plateau, where vegetation is sparse and the land lies open and unforgiving, the ostrich has the advantage. It can see danger from afar, but when needed, even scattered shrubs become sanctuary, temporary refuges to rest, to hide, to vanish. A classic browser, the Somali ostrich feeds on what this land offers. Leaves, roots, wildflowers, seeds. Succulent plants provide precious moisture when drought grips the plains, and when greenery disappears, it does not hesitate to consume insects or small animals. A quiet opportunist in a land of extremes. Here, they are most often seen alone or in pairs, especially in the breeding season or when scarcity forces solitude. As the dry season wanes and the plateau's vegetation fades, they drift toward the Galana River, not in great herds like the hoofed migrants, but in small, flexible movements, guided not by spectacle, but by instinct. And subtle shifts in microclimate. In this timeless land, even the ostrich knows, survival belongs not to the strongest, but to those who adapt with grace. And among the plain's most peculiar inhabitants stands one of Africa's most extraordinary antelopes, the gerenuk, the so-called giraffe gazelle. At first glance, it might seem almost fragile, but every inch of its elongated frame tells a tale of evolutionary brilliance. With a neck that stretches an extra 30 to 40 centimeters, the gerenuk unlocks a secret layer of nourishment, leaves and buds tucked just beyond the reach of other antelope. But the real marvel lies in its posture. With graceful precision, the gerenuk rises onto its hind legs, standing tall, steadying itself lightly against a shrub. In this vertical ballet, it reaches nearly 2 meters into the canopy, browsing where no gazelle dares go. Its snout, narrow and agile, is guided by a flexible upper lip and a long, dexterous tongue, tools that pluck delicate leaves from thorny branches without injury. Each mouthful is a testament to its patience and finesse. In a world where bulk often determines survival, the gerenuk has chosen another path: elevation, elegance, and efficiency. Socially, it is just as unique. You won't find large herds roaming here. Adult males are solitary, guarding loose territories with scent markings during the brief breeding season. Females and their young form small, quiet groups, just 2 to 6 individuals, moving like whispers across the savanna. Mothers are fiercely attentive. After birth, they meticulously groom their newborns, then hide them deep within thorny cover. There, for the first weeks of life, the young wait in silence while the mother returns to nurse in short, careful visits, protecting them from the ever-present gaze of predators. In this harsh, sun-baked environment, the gerenuk thrives, not through strength or speed, but through adaptation and grace. It is a silent symbol of persistence, a creature shaped by the land, refined by necessity, and quietly triumphant in one of Africa's most unforgiving places. Across the windswept fields of the Dika Plain, the land pulses with life. And while the tree-climbing gerenuk may capture the eye, it is not the only master of this sun-scorched realm. From the shimmering haze of heat, another icon emerges, smaller, swifter, and no less tenacious. This is the Thompson's gazelle, known affectionately as the Tommy, a blur of grace and speed etched into the memory of the African plains. Petite in stature, yet immense in resilience, the Tommy is one of Africa's fastest land animals. Capable of reaching speeds up to 80 kilometers per hour, it races just behind the cheetah in sheer velocity. But unlike the cheetah, it holds a secret advantage, not just speed, but precision. With astonishing agility, it zigzags across the landscape, its hooves barely touching the earth, as it twists and turns in an unpredictable ballet. For predators, this makes the Tommy an elusive prize, difficult to chase, harder to catch. And then it leaps. With a sudden jolt, it springs into the air, legs stretched, spine arched, body suspended in a perfect arc. This behavior, known as pronking or stotting, may seem theatrical, but science tells a different story. This leap is a coded signal, a warning to others, a defiant display to would-be predators: I see you, I'm strong, don't waste your energy. Unlike many antelope species that remain tethered to fixed territories, the Thompson's gazelle is a wanderer. It follows the rain, the scent of fresh grass, and the eternal rhythm of survival. Their herds are fluid and ephemeral, sometimes a dozen, other times thousands, merging and splitting like desert wind. They often travel alongside wildebeest and plain zebra, but the Tommy carves its own path. It doesn't simply graze, it chooses. Selective feeders, they seek out specific species of grass to fuel their high-speed lives. In this ecosystem, they are the heartbeat of the hunt, the primary prey for the cheetah. Studies across Tsavo and the Serengeti confirm this intimate connection. When larger prey migrate, the Tommy becomes the keystone, sustaining one of Africa's most specialized predators through the unforgiving dry season. And still, they endure. With each bound, each evasive twist, the Thompson's gazelle tells a timeless tale of elegance shaped by danger, of speed born from necessity, and of survival against the odds. As the winds sweep across the Busanga plains, they carry with them the dry scent of earth and the ripeness of sun-baked grass. Suddenly, the stillness is broken by a thunderous roar that rolls across the horizon, a proclamation of dominance, a warning, and a reminder of who reigns supreme here, the lion. In this landscape, where life and loss are bound together, the lion's battle is never only for prey. It is for territory, survival, and its rightful place in an ever-shifting world. The lion is more than a hunter, it is a legacy. Fossil and genetic records reveal that their ancestors once roamed across Africa, Asia, and Europe for hundreds of thousands of years. In Busanga today, they remain the cornerstone of the ecosystem, shaping balance through instinct, precision, and strategy. Unlike other big cats, lions are not solitary. They live in prides, complex societies of females, cubs, and coalitions of males, often brothers. Each member has a role, each bond a thread in the tapestry of survival. The mane of a male is more than decoration. It is a banner of power. Dark and thick, it signals health, strength, and the ability to defend the pride against all threats. But it is the lionesses who form the pride's beating heart. They hunt, raise young, and guard one another with a bond as fierce as it is unbreakable. From the mounds that rise above the plains, they wait in silence, watchful silhouettes against the fading light. They do not rush. They do not falter. A herd grazes unknowingly. Slowly, the lionesses move into position. This is no chance encounter, but a choreography refined through generations. The blocker, the flanker, the finisher. And when the moment comes, they strike together. Explosive, precise, unstoppable. A lioness can surge forward at nearly 80 kilometers an hour, her bite force crushing with more than 4,500 newtons. Within moments, the hunt is over. For larger prey, such as buffalo, the males descend with devastating force. Weighing nearly 200 kilograms, their raw power is enough to drag down a full-grown giant. Yet amidst this raw power lies a fragile truth. In recent years, Busanga has offered glimmers of hope. Between 2021 and 2024, lion numbers here average nearly 4 individuals per 100 square kilometers, an estimated 358 lions, adults and cubs alike. Conservation efforts, GPS tracking, protective zones. and anti-poaching measures have lifted survival rates and increased reproduction by nearly 30%. But across Africa, the story is more troubling. Lion populations have plummeted by as much as 3/4 in just half a century. Expanding farms, retaliation for livestock losses, and the illegal wildlife trade continue to drive this regal predator toward vulnerability. Even here in Busanga, the struggle is tangible. In 2022, 2 lionesses were caught in snares, leaving behind 8 cubs. 7 survived thanks to human intervention and were reintroduced into the wild. And still, the lion carries whispers of its past. Cubs are born marked with faint spots, reminders of their patterned kin. Jaguars, leopards, cheetahs. For some, those ghostly markings linger into adulthood, subtle echoes of evolution etched into their skin. The lion is not just an apex predator. It is a living chronicle of survival, of decline, and of hope for redemption in the wild heart of Africa. As night descends upon the savannah, darkness swallows the land. The waterholes shimmer faintly under the cold glow of the moon. Out of the silence, lions begin to stir. They do not march directly to the water's edge. Instead, they melt into the tall grasses and earthen mounds, waiting, patient and unseen, every shadow, every breath of wind concealing their presence. Lions are the only great cats to live and hunt as one, bound together in social groups known as prides. United, they can topple prey weighing hundreds of kilograms, wildebeest, zebra, even the formidable African buffalo. On rare and desperate occasions, they dare to charge at giants. Tonight, in the heart of a drying waterhole, a black rhino thrashes in despair. Trapped in the grip of thick, suffocating mud, its massive body weighs it down. Twin horns sweep wildly, cutting the air, but each struggle only sinks it deeper. From the shadows, 3 golden shapes emerge. Lionesses, the seasoned huntresses of the pride. Among lions, the hunt belongs to the females. Really 90% of kills are claimed by them. Their bodies are sculpted for bursts of sheer explosive speed, capable of sprinting up to 80 kilometers per hour, though only for a heartbeat. Now, that lethal power converges upon the trapped giant. The rhino bellows, a rasping roar that echoes into the night. A beast of up to 1,400 kilograms, reduced to a prisoner of mud. One lioness lunges, sinking her teeth into its flank, but the rhino's armor, nearly 5 centimeters thick, holds strong. With a violent surge of strength, it tears free and charges. The hunters scatter. Tonight, the giant escapes. Such failures are rare. Lions more often target antelope and grazers drawn to the water's edge. Their hunts unfold with ruthless precision. A few circle silently behind the herd, herding prey into the waiting jaws of their companions. Flattened to the earth, golden coats blend seamlessly into dust and shadow. Then, in an instant, the trap springs. A single leap, a strike of claws, and the savannah quakes beneath their power. Yet the hunt is only the beginning. When the kill is made, the male takes his due first, asserting dominance as he guards the feast from thieves like the spotted hyena. His other duty, patrolling the boundaries of the pride, safeguarding the precious water holes that mean life or death in the dry season. From zebra to wildebeest, buffalo to warthog, the lion's appetite echoes their reign at the very top of the food chain. Even young giraffes or the frail are not spared, and what the lions leave behind does not go to waste. Carcasses become a banquet for scavengers, vultures descending from the heavens to return life's remains back to the earth. High above, these masters of the sky patrol in circles between 500 and 1,500 meters. Their eyes, 3 to 4 times sharper than our own, sweep the savannah for the faintest signs. A staggering wildebeest, a fallen zebra, a sudden commotion of dust. With sight as their weapon, they read the savannah's every secret. When one vulture dips toward death, others, even miles away, follow in a chain of silent signals. Above the savannah, they mark the rhythm of survival, the eternal dance of predator and prey. When a predator abandons its kill, the savannah soon stirs with dark wings. Within an hour, dozens, sometimes hundreds, of vultures descend from the skies, each one drawn by the silent signal of circling companions above. Every feature of the vulture's body is sculpted by evolution for one purpose: scavenging. Their bald heads and bare necks slip easily into the ribcage of a carcass, staying free of gore. Hooked beaks rip through the toughest hides of buffalo and giraffe, while rough tongues scrape every last strand of muscle from bone. With long, sinuous necks, they reach deep into the body's core, liver, heart, intestines, where the richest nutrients lie. But it is their stomachs that hold the true secret. A cauldron of acid, near pH 1, capable of destroying what would kill almost any other creature. Anthrax spores, rabies viruses, botulinum toxins, supported by a microbiome, evolved to neutralize decay itself. Vultures transform death into energy, preventing plague from sweeping the land. Across Africa, white-backed vultures and Ruppel's vultures reign as wide-ranging nomads of the skies. Their migrations follow the great herds of wildebeest and zebra. Guided by invisible rivers of scent and sight, GPS trackers have revealed individuals covering more than 1,800 kilometers in just 2 weeks, scouring dry riverbeds for the faintest chance of food. At the waterhole, competition explodes, not only among different vulture species, but with another shadow of death, the Marabou stork. Towering a meter tall, armed with a bill over 30 centimeters long, the stork strides directly into the chaos, pushing aside rivals to claim its share. What vultures shred from the surface, Marabou storks pry from within, snatching scraps hidden in water or clinging stubbornly to bone. Like vultures, their design speaks of survival. Bald heads, dagger-like bills, and a strange inflatable throat pouch, perhaps a tool for cooling or a signal in their harsh social world. Their menu is even broader. Fish, frogs, lizards, rodents, eggs, even garbage near human settlements. Opportunists to the core, they may take what the savannah offers, whether fresh, rotting, or still struggling. At the margins of the waterhole, Marabou storks watch for weakness, a wounded bird, a struggling fish trapped in shrinking mud. With swift, spear-like strikes, they add fresh kills to their scavenged meals. Together, vultures and Marabou storks embody nature's final act. They strip the savanna clean, recycling death into life, and ensuring that, in this harsh arena, nothing is ever wasted. Unlike the larger antelopes that creep forward with caution, Guinea fowl burst onto the scene with their trademark bustle and boundless energy. A flock is never small. 10, 20, sometimes more than 25, moving as one, a tightly knit social unit. Their voices never fall silent. Loud rhythmic calls ripple across the air, keeping the group connected, keeping danger at bay. This constant chatter is more than noise. It is a lifeline. Impalas, wildebeest, even zebras benefit from their vigilance. A single alarm call can ripple 150 meters across open terrain, triggering instant defenses in creatures far beyond their own kind. Though they have wings, they rarely waste them. When danger strikes, they run, fast, coordinated, relentless. At speeds of 35 kilometers an hour, weaving and darting unpredictably, they leave predators frustrated in the dust. Their eyes, tuned to the slightest flicker of motion, grant them a survival edge. Their nervous systems are sharpened for vigilance, their reactions near instant. But Guinea fowl are more than survivors. They are shapers of the land. Feeding on seeds, bulbs, and swarms of insects, they cleanse the savanna. Opportunistic hunters, they will even seize lizards or young snakes when the chance arises. Around waterholes, they scour the muddy fringes, drawn to insect-rich zones. Careful never to wander too close to the treacherous water's edge where crocodiles lie in wait. They are everywhere. South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Angola. 28 to 30 million strong. Most roam outside protected areas, thriving in semi-arid scrub, grasslands, even farmland. As the dry season grips the land, they cluster around the last remaining waterholes. When the rains return, they scatter once more across the plains. Insects fall silent in their path. Plant debris is cleared. Feeding grounds are opened for smaller birds, lapwings, sand grouse, and countless others. The Guinea fowl, noisy, restless, unyielding, are not just part of the savanna. They are its watchmen, its early warning system, its restless guardians. Midday on the African savanna, the sun scorches the earth and the shade of a tree becomes a rare treasure. It is at this unforgiving hour that giraffes begin their slow, deliberate approach to the waterhole. Unlike other grazers that prefer the safety of dawn or dusk, giraffes choose the heat of noon, a time when lions, leopards, and hyenas retreat to rest. It's a strategy, a gamble, and it works. Their towering height grants them a sweeping view of the plains, but to drink, they must bow, a giant folding itself down, a frame stretched and exposed. For those moments, balance is lost, and the most powerful advantage of the giraffe becomes its greatest weakness. They never linger. Each sit is fleeting, measured in seconds. Lower, drink, raise, scan, listen, lower again. In groups, one always stands guard, towering above the others, eyes sweeping the horizon. Height is their glory. Adult males can rise above 5.5 meters, weighing nearly 2,000 kilograms. Females, slightly smaller, still dwarf most creatures of the savannah. With their elongated necks and half-meter tongues, they pluck acacia leaves armored with thorns, reaching what no other herbivore dares. They do not thunder across the land like elephants, nor churn the dust like buffalo. Instead, they glide through the plains, leaving little trace. Gentle giants with a surprisingly light ecological touch. But even giants must drink carefully. Steep banks, murky pools, blocked views, these they avoid. They seek gentle slopes and open water, where their eyes can search wide and far. For danger does not only creep from the bushes. Sometimes it waits below the surface, silent, still, patient. The Nile crocodile. There are rare chilling accounts of crocodiles lunging at giraffes mid-drink, striking at the bowed posture of the giant. Most fail. These towering herbivores are cautious, deliberate, and calculated in every move. And so, each sip becomes a ritual of survival. Lower, drink, rise, scan. The rhythm of giants in a land where hesitation could mean death. So tell us, are you the kind who drinks in quick sips, always watching your surroundings? Or do you drink slowly, unbothered, as if nothing could ever catch you off guard? As the sun climbs higher, the savannah hardens under the weight of the heat. The air turns sharp, the ground bleached white, and the once calm waterhole transforms into chaos. Zebras, wildebeest, buffalo, herds upon herds press forward, churning the shallows into a muddy broth, heavy with the scent of sweat and dust. Beneath that murky veil, peace is an illusion. Here, patience rules. A ripple, a pair of nostrils, the glint of unblinking eyes, signs of the Nile crocodile. Some stretch over 5 meters in length, weighing more than 700 kilograms, and yet they barely disturb the water. Their scaled armor mirrors the mud, their stillness as complete as stone. They wait, hours, days, sometimes weeks, for a single mistake. One downward sip from an antelope, one moment of lowered guard, then an eruption. A lunge at 12 meters per second, the strike so sudden that sound itself seems too slow to catch it. Prey dragged under before it can cry out. This is no pursuit predator. The crocodile wins by patience, not speed, by silence, not force. Every movement is measured, every burst of violence calculated. But giants share the waterhole. Hippos slide in, their bulk sending shivers across the surface. There is no friendship here, but no open war either. The hippo is too massive to kill, the crocodile too dangerous to ignore. They coexist like uneasy neighbors until the water shrinks. When the pool recedes to a fraction of its size, every square meter becomes a battlefield. The hippo charges, jaws gaping, tusks longer than a man's arm. The crocodile slips back into the depths, vanishing in a swirl of mud. The fight is avoided, for now. The Nile crocodile has survived like this for over 50 million years. Its strength lies not just in power, but in patience, adaptability, and a strategy honed over eons. To drink at the waterhole is to gamble with death. For above the surface, thirst rules all life, but below it, the silent trap waits.